Okay, let's move on to some of the economics currency stuff. So mid 2019, we're looking at an economic boom, right?
Yeah, so the economy has been growing steadily and in a positive direction since Trump took office. The Galactics are implying that there will be a large economic boom starting mid 2019, and this has been confirmed by some of our high up military sources. And they said that it would affect the housing market and that we would see an increase in that, and that this time it wouldn't be a false inflation. It's simply there's more money flowing. People are more comfortable spending money and making purchases, and so that would cause the housing market to go up as well. And they also indicated that this year would be good for cryptocurrency. They said 2018 was not an accurate reflection of what the market can do. They've indicated that only a few of the coins that now we have over 1,000 coins on the market right now.
Yeah, it's a
They said
lot. It's
they
confusing.
said crypto, yeah, they said cryptocurrency is here to stay. It's going to be a part of our financial future, and that only a few of the coins that are out there are actually going to thrive. They did not indicate which coins they would be. Uh, so
I
um,
invested in a few, and let's just say it went down quite a bit.
Yeah, it did. Last year, and the markets are still, they were manipulated. So last year didn't go so well, but the year before that was really, really high. And this year, I think we'll start to see them climb again. It might not be a quick climb, but it's going to be a steady increase, and it'll be a more accurate reflection of what the markets do on their own without intervention. And I think that at the end of it, about five coins will be in circulation, and I think three of them will shine this year. I just don't know which ones they are.
Do you guys know of Ronald Bernard and the Be a Change system?
No.
Okay, because he was
No,
starting kind of like a cryptocurrency thing, but it was going to be based on labor. But I just
uh,
wondered if
we're
that was one.
we're doing one that's going to be based on asset backed. So gold and other natural reserves. Because most of them, there's a few out there that are gold backed, but most of them are phantom fiat. Still the same old, nothing behind it.
Yeah, we're currently working on our platform and our coin that we're going to launch hopefully later this year. And we are not doing a pre-ICO fundraise on this one. We're just going to take it straight to the market. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited about this one, and we think that it being asset backed is gives it some more longevity and security, and the technology that we're using to trade with is really advanced.
So is that going to be connected to the new rainbow currency that's coming out?
Undetermined at this point. The intent is to do that, but it'll depend on how quickly all these things can come together that are in the works. So, but we do have a sovereign bank that we will be using, and so there are big plans to have a meta platform where everything is interconnected. Obviously, you probably knew about Trump passing the act for quantum, what was it, Computing Initiative Act. And so
No, I don't. How long ago was that?
you can search and find on the internet. I don't remember the exact time, but I did get some remarks that there's more things just over this last weekend, that there's more things that are occurring to create a quantum cloud, and in an effort to basically have a new banking system. And we're involved in a variety of ways with new technologies, and so trying to coordinate all the pieces into a big meta platform is something that I've envisioned and been working on, obviously, for a while. Um,
That was December, it looks like.
yeah, not terribly long ago. 1.5 billion allocated for research.
That's insane. So, okay, the rainbow currency stuff here. You said they had this stuff printed up already. It's sitting in shipping containers. How long has this been printed and waiting?
I've never really asked that question. Frankly, it's been at least probably 4 months, but I never got an origin date on that. Um, and the intent is to connect that to gold allocations so that we do have, a back on gold standard currency.
Yeah, it looks like we're moving away from fiat in our, typical currency and in the cryptocurrency world. So it's not such a great system, and everyone knows that, and we're moving away from it.
Yeah.
And then this new currency is real colorful. It's got. Do you know what it looks like? Do you have as a picture leaked somewhere where people can see this?
I can try to get one. I've seen some that were suspected to be, but I didn't ever verify that. Just focused on the things that I can immediately affect. But I can see what I can do.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
It would.
Didn't you see some of the ones that were floating around, like with Tesla? Did you ever see any of these assumed new treasury notes?
What
You
should
did see a Marian currency.
Well, that's something entirely different. Yeah, but I'd never confirmed, excuse me, whether that was actually the case or not with those. But that'd be really cool,
Yeah, I mean, I think people kind of want something tangible, so we can, you hear all this stuff, but you want to start seeing some evidence.
Yeah, well, let me see what I can do for us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's a $100 bill here with Tesla on it, but yeah, that definitely looks fake. It's interesting, I guess. It's not colorful like the rainbow currency should be. But.
Yeah, well, when people are sharing this information with us, and of course we're sharing it over the phone lines here, there's only so much we can say without disrupting operations, and it's also in a way that we don't really ask a lot of questions because it's like
you don't get very far doing that,
They didn't like a lot of
20 questions, it doesn't go off very well.
Yeah, so you're kind of just there as a briefing. They just tell you what's going on.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with the Galactics. It's like a one-sided conversation. They tell us what we need to know when we need to know it, and then we're able to verify it with our on-the-ground sources. And so there's not a lot of like question and answer going on there.
But they certainly gained our trust, where you're all ears over the last few years, where they would tell us stuff and it would happen over and over and over again, months ahead of the time and sometimes even weeks now. But for sure, it's a thing where you're like, oh, thank you so much. And you're kind of in awe and wonder of what they just told you. You don't even have questions. You're like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's also important just to practice discernment, and like in a world full of lies, we kind of just have to listen with our hearts and see what feels true to us, because a lot of this stuff like cannot be proven or verified, and especially when it comes to some of the like off-planet stuff. I mean, there may be, we may never know in this lifetime what all that is really about or who we really are. Hopefully we'll get to a point where we're connected with our galactic community and that is disclosed, but a lot of it is speculation, and the channels in which we receive it is also really interesting. So when, let's say I'm communicating telepathically with these people, when I do a reading for someone, it's more of a jumble of information where I'm getting feelings, images, and thoughts and smells and sounds that I have to kind of combine together into a message. Whereas when I'm talking with these galactic beings, it's more of a stream of consciousness, and they're speaking directly to me, and they're also giving me images along with the words, but it's still it's a subtle language in which they speak, and it's very cryptic as well, because they're dealing with free will. They can't disrupt our free will. So they can give us nuggets, and we kind of have to connect the dots.
Well, they have indicated that contact will happen soon, and they'll see us soon, but soon in their terms could be 6 months,
Yeah, or 6 years. These are ancient beings that have no concept of time the way that we do.
I'll be honest, I'm so sick of hearing the word soon. I don't even, that word holds no weight for me anymore. It's
right.
just whatever. So
yeah.
Jay King in the chat, I've been watching the chat here, folks. He does say, will Jasara be implemented and the RV GR cert? Because you guys wanted to touch on this too, the RV stuff. So will it be implemented? How will that work?
Okay. So it is our understanding that Jasara, Nasara, and the RV, GCR, are essentially PSYOPs programs that have been flooding the alternative platforms with false information. Some of it's true. There is a global financial reset going on, but it was never intended to be something that was like a public currency exchange. And do you want to say something?
Sure.
Go ahead. Letting me be the like dream buster here.
Well, when I was doing what I was doing back a decade ago, and I was working directly with Intel and had clearances and the like, and I asked about the White Dove, Farmer Bond, Omega, Alpha Omega. I'm trying to remember what these things were called, and the White Knights and all this kind of stuff with Nasara. And they were like, no, that's not real. That's not happening. That's a pacification to have people just sit on their hands and wait because, everything's being taken care of by other people. Instead of, being action oriented, they were disempowering everybody. And then when the RV came along again with, all these currencies that you could get, and then you just had to wait and you'd become a millionaire. That was a black op program to collect everybody's money, but it had twofold, of course, and even three as I think about it, because one was they wanted these elders to release their money. The intent of the elders is to get their money out there to help the world. They have always said it belongs to the people for the golden age. And so the cabal wanted them to, release it, thinking it was going to go to these people, but if it goes through a Federal Reserve system, it'll be stolen. So that's one problem. The other problem is you cannot release a quadrillion into the U.S. currency or any currency because it's going to flood the market and devalue the currency, let alone if everybody becomes a millionaire overnight. When you go down to the store after a while to check out with some groceries, there's not going to be anybody there. No food on the shelves.
Yeah, who's going to want to go to work and do a peon job?
Well, millionaires, what are we doing that for? So, yet that doesn't mean that there isn't plans to have aspects of currency reset, new systems, all these sorts of things. But if you check with the World Bank and the IMF, their definition of the global reset is way different. It's about disempowering, the United States. And so everything that we're doing is about empowering the United States and the U.S. currency. And so, a lot of the stuff that is being broadcast through these blogs that says next Tuesday or the Chinese New Year, how many times have we heard that? Over and over and over. It's getting done, it's getting ready. So I know that things are happening, and I know that the intent is to help countries. There's programs going on that we're involved with to retire debt, to help countries at a very high level to get a fresh start. And then there are desires and intents to have things funding individual programs, people's projects rather, and programs that give people a bit of a jubilee. But whether you can believe these blogs that there's going to be an 800 number and you can just take your cash down to the bank, take that currency and walk out with USD. Sorry, but I don't think so.
Yeah, it was a way for them to profit off people buying this currency and then turning it in and then taking it. And so the current status is that these currencies, and this might clear something up that we talked about before too. We were offered an opportunity to participate in a trading platform with these currencies. And so that really is the only way that they have a value at this point. So they still have the same market value that you purchased them for. They have not been revalued. And so anybody that's making money off of them at this point is because they're taking them into a big lot, and they're taking that lot and putting it into a trade, and that's outputting money. But even those trading platforms have been corrupted to where their trade's going in and no money is coming out, at least not into the pockets of people that put the money in. So,
well, yeah, I can tell you a lot of horror stories about trades. I became an expert on the subject, and you have to have the right relationship to really not be taken advantage of around that, and thankfully we do. But those trades are very rigid and they follow a lot of regulation. And, the assets that go into those true trades have to absolutely be, collateralized and in a way, even like insurance wrap. There are ways that you can pass the muster. But, for the most part, you couldn't just take a handful of notes from one of these, currency exchanges into a trade. There was things you would need to do that would cost money, quite a bit of money. For example, an insurance wrap is not a cheap venture.
What's the plan with, like, let's say George Soros gets arrested and put to death? What happens to all his assets?
Well, I mean, it depends upon who has the real upper hand at that point. With the banking system as it currently is, they can seize, anybody's asset. Your money in the bank really belongs to them.
And with the executive order that Trump put out, I think it was last December, like December of 2017, about human trafficking. They in that executive order, they have the right to seize the property and assets of anybody involved in this. So,
but if he's in Cyprus or he's somewhere else, you don't have the same effect.
Yeah, I would just like to, okay. So on the currency topic, like none of this stuff was ever created to make individuals rich. It was a solution to change our global financial climate. And it's not meant for individuals. And so what we are doing is working with countries to eliminate debt, to support their infrastructure, and to get them away from the current central banking system. And so that is going on, and there is a lot of positive stuff happening in that arena. But as far as the other stuff goes, we don't have any confidence that would ever happen, and nor do we believe that it would be a good idea. And the Galactics have been really focused on Mr. Soros this year. They have indicated it is in poor health. I saw something just a couple days ago saying that he was involved in the current roundup and that he had been taken into custody. And
yeah, I saw that too. I didn't know if it was fake news because we heard that before and it never was true. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but he certainly is a factor in all of this. He certainly is a big name and a big player in the opposition, and he does have a crosshair on him from the Galactics and the agencies and military responsible for taking care of the legal aspect of what's going on. And I really want to applaud those people too, because they have been putting their lives on the line. We've lost lives in this roundup process, and these people have really gone above and beyond to liberate the planet and help us, and they're the ones that have really put their lives at risk, as well as the inventors and doctors and everyone that have tried to put out new technologies.
Okay, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about some technology stuff that you guys have to get out to the public as well. So yeah, if you guys want to call in, go ahead. I'm going to put that phone number up, and you guys can get your calls lined up and get you on the air to talk to m&msm. So this will be great. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Okay.
You're listening to Talk is Cheap with Dan Hohlfeld on the K2D4 network.
Call us live at 1-605-562-0444. Show ID 146509. Phone lines are open.
Big tech giants are censoring people's voices. Subscribe to our backup channels on BitChute and DTube. Go to K2D4network.com for all the links.
Enjoying the show? Consider supporting us by donating to our Patreon. Patreon.com/K2D4network.